I am the Queen of Zandalar, and a queen kneels to no one.
They should use their minds to save the world, instead of devising ways to tear it apart.
No. Not while the Black Moon still cries out for vengeance. Not until the Horde has answered for its treachery.
The war is serving its purpose. Stay focused on the endgame. You know what is to come.
The two essential weapons of an adventurer. A bottle of good gin and a jar of tasty jam. This is Girls Gone WoW!
Hello, you are listening to Girls Gone WoW, show 682, recorded on Sunday, April the 12th, 2026. I am your host, Raven, and with me I have my wonderful co-host, DJ. How are you doing this week, my love?
Well, I got to see you for lunch. So
yes. I drove all the way over to Holloway, and we had lunch in a pub we've not been to in some time that appeared to be being staffed by the most hipster sort of 18-year-olds I've ever seen.
And it was all going fine. It was all going really the clarinet and the piano arrived.
Yeah, suddenly a guy appears.
I kid you not.
Suddenly
just sat down with the piano and started playing both the clarinet and the piano at the same time.
Yeah.
At which point we just got up and moved because it was bang next to us.
It was right next to us.
What the actual fuck?
It was so weird. So he had a clarinet in one hand, and he was playing the clarinet with one hand, and then he was playing the piano with the other hand, and it was super weird. So hipster, even by London standards. That was pretty fucking hipster.
For that place, gosh.
Yeah, weird. Just weird. Super weird. It was fine. I felt a bit sorry for him because literally, you start doing your music thing and everybody just gets up and leaves. But he was right behind us and we were trying to have a conversation. I think Holly was quite angry about it. I assume he was supposed to be performing. I assume this is like a Sunday lunch thing that they do.
Yeah, because he was talking with the staff. So
so I assume he was sort of booked or something.
Yeah.
There was nothing. There was no signage that said, and by the way, John will be here at 3 p.m. and he will be playing his clarinet and playing the piano at the same time. And then at one point he was singing as well. I could hear from the other room, but I was.
Oh no.
Yeah, it got a bit I was like, okay, I think it's time. I think I need to. This is my cue to leave. Your pub just got super weird. I will now be leaving. Thank you very much.
Very odd. So no, apart from that weirdness, no, life is okay at the moment. I'm going to have my COVID jab tomorrow.
Very exciting.
I am entitled to bonus COVID jabs because of all of the meds I'm taking.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, your immune system's a bit rubbish.
Yeah, you should probably
have some more. And I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah, and given that the whole thing with your eye started with you getting COVID, you should probably not get that again, eh? It'd be a bad idea.
Absolutely. I'm very up for this. It's yep, okay. There is literally chemist at the end of the road, so that's nice and simple. So that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow's fun activity.
Exciting.
Yeah, indeed. How are you?
I'm okay. It's been a very, very busy week. And I haven't had as much time for doing things that are not working as I would have liked to have done. Our auditors arrive. Well, they don't arrive. They don't get we do everything remotely now. So they arrive at their own desks where they usually work tomorrow. And I will be I won't be at my desk where I usually work. I'll be somewhere else. But we will all virtually arrive to a virtual environment, whereupon we will do the audit tomorrow. Well, this week. They will do their field work this week.
It's so unfortunate because every time, and generally it's you talking about auditors, but occasionally other people, every time you do that, unfortunately, all that comes to mind is Terry Pratchett's version of auditors. And that's all I see. Every time you say that, I just imagine these literal figures like floating around your offices being disparaging. And I'm like, oh dear.
Well, no, they're not. They're not disparaging at all. So you get issued a baby auditor, like a little one, and this year's little one I think is called Andrew, and then you have the senior auditor who is in charge, and the baby auditor does all the work, and then the senior auditor meets with me and tells me what's going on, and then there's like an Uber auditor who is the senior auditor's boss. Who comes for boss level meetings. So I don't think we've got any boss level meetings this week. I think the only boss level meeting will be in a couple of weeks' time. But I'm expecting to have at least one meeting with the senior auditor this week, and I expect I will see quite a lot of the baby auditor. So yeah, it's mostly this is mostly me and baby auditor this week, and then I get as we get further up in the audit, we pass through the chains until we get to the boss. And then when we've defeated the boss, I guess she drops some loot. I guess the loot she drops is like a signed set of accounts.
Do you get some chests and some piles of gold to run around?
Well, no, she's counted all the piles of gold. That's her job, you see. Yeah.
Yes.
So we've arguably already got the piles of gold. So yeah, I guess the loot she drops is like a signed off set of accounts.
And no fines or anything. That's the sort of
and sort of no
that you get from auditors.
Yeah, exactly. No what's called qualifying the audit. So I want a clean audit with no qualifications, because qualifications in an audit sense are a bad thing. So yeah, there we go. That's what I'll be doing this week. So we've got a couple of interesting news items this week. Firstly, you may have already seen patch 12.0.5 arrives on the 21st or the 22nd of April. So that's not this week, but next week. We'll do a deep dive of the content patch next week to get you ready. But news from the PTR suggests there are 300 new housing decor items heading our way. That sounds like a lot of housing items. There's 106 new items that can be placed outside, including paintings and lampposts and all sorts of things. So if housing is your jam, go and catch up on the housing news.
And the other interesting news this week is the March on Caldenas Raid Finder and Story Mode are now live. So everybody, whatever flavour of raid you like to do, for all 3 raids, I'm just so excited still that we've got 3 raids available at the moment. But however you want to do it, you can now go do it.
Yes. Yes. Yes, you could put lights outside at last, Banian. It seems like that's
some lights.
Some lights.
Absolutely.
Some lights are now available to go outside. Not all lights, obviously. That would be ridiculous.
Some lights.
Some lights.
Yeah, I got some Haranir ones that are like a big flower on an enormous stick that came from Haranir, and I put one of those outside the other day, and it was like, yeah, nice. You can do that. I'm like, great, that's good. Super, thank you very much.
Yeah, outdoor light has been invented in Azeroth. That's good. That's good. I'm glad that they got there at last. But yes, March of Caldenas is available on story mode. I thought it was quite good on story mode, although it does make me laugh that some of the NPCs, like, I don't know if they're not running with DBM or if they just like can't read quest text. They're just, some of the pathing was really all over the place. I had people, and some people really didn't understand some of the mechanics. There were a couple of sort of mechanics in the Lura fight we won't get into that got that were reasonably obvious. Like, it is helpful if everybody stands in this particular place at this particular time, and there was a couple of NPCs that just kept fucking it up. I was like, okay.
Like the big shiny thing that's protecting us from the dark thing. Stand in that, could you? Oh no, apparently you can't.
No, apparently you can't. Apparently you can't. I did. Yeah. Anyway, at some point we'll talk about that. But it was good, and everything's all fine again. I'm sure. Everything's. For the moment,
what could possibly
everything's
go
fine.
Wrong? Have we not saved Azeroth now, or the other thing?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Right, topic for this week is Zul'Aman, the home of the Armani trolls. What did you think about the zone and the story between Zul'Jara and her brother Zul'Jan, and how Liadrin fixed everything, or tried to? So, trolls. Exciting trolls.
Yes, exciting trolls. I hadn't... obviously, I appreciated that there was a lot of history between the elves and the trolls. And then I was like... And, like, when I got up this morning to write the show notes, I was like, oh, need to do a little, like, TLDR. Why do we get to the bit where everyone's being aggressive at the front of Zul'Aman? And then I started writing the show notes.
Yeah, you have written...
There was quite a lot of history.
I think there are Richard Knack books shorter than this, to be honest.
These are the short. This is the. I took half of this out. This is the cliff notes.
Lol.
I promise.
All right, well, strap in, everyone. We're going to do you a brief history of the trolls in only 3 sides of A4. Yeah. So, it does start by saying trolls are one of the oldest mortal races of Azeroth, which we do all know. So everything was kind of descended, well, lots of things were descended from the trolls. So they were created around the Well of Eternity, and then they moved everywhere and settled in areas which are connected with the Lower, which is what they call their gods.
Whilst trolls expanded all over Azeroth, they were forbidden to travel to a mysterious mound of black stone at the base of the Zandalar mountain range. However, a priest, witch doctor, called Zando, he was an outcast, and he was like, fuck it, and went there. And there he found a dagger called Xalatath.
Oh, weird.
Dun, dun, dun.
Very weird.
Who whispered to him about power and revealed that the mysterious area was the resting place of Kithik, a dead general of the old god armies and the fallen Black Empire. Oh, good stuff.
Ding ding.
So Zando thought it was a great idea to use Xalatath to revive Kithik, who then got together an insectoid army and started the Akiran Troll Wars, with all the troll tribes coming together as the Empire of Zol to fight the invaders. The trolls summoned the Lower to push back the Akir, wounded Kithik and forced him away from Zandalar, so he retreated to the northeast woods of the Armani territory. The Armani threw themselves into battle, killing Kithik, defeating his army, and cemented their position as the most legendary fighters of the trolls. They then thought it was a good idea to build a settlement on the corpse of Kithik, which is where the temple city of Zul'Aman is.
Okay, I already have questions about the decision making of these, whoever's in charge of the trolls right now. Yeah. All right then, but okay, fine. Some trolls chose not to leave the Well of Eternity, and surrounded by the arcane power there, they turned into night elves. Some of them wanted to be able to use arcane power, as they saw this as their birthright, so the elves divided. Those that moved to the eastern kingdoms became high elves, who settled in the area of high arcane ley lines and created the Sunwell.
Unfortunately, the elves are
due to more bad decision making, because nobody in Azeroth is capable of making a good decision.
Or talking to anybody. So the elves did this on top of one of the Armani's sacred burial grounds, because that's always the best place to build stuff, isn't it? And settled there despite the trolls' existing settlements. The trolls couldn't compete with the magic of the elves or the enchantments they had stolen from the trolls, so they retreated to Zul'Aman to plan their revenge, which leads to the Troll Wars.
So in the Troll Wars, the High Elves were joined in battle by the human empire of Arathor, because it's, just over the hill, over there, in return for help against the Trolls. The High Elves would teach magic to humans. The Armani Trolls were crippled when the newly trained human mages unleashed fire on them, obliterating their Lower and their leadership, so they retreated once more to Zul'Aman.
The forest trolls were scattered for centuries following this, until the rise of Zul'Jin, who won the favour of the various tribe leaders and reunited them into Zul'Aman. He wanted to take down the magical defences of the elves that stopped the trolls from invading, and kidnapped several elves, including the priestess Liadrin, might have heard of her.
Might have heard of her.
The ranger Lorthamar Theron, might have heard of him.
Yeah.
And the magister Darkthan Drathir.
Yeah.
They would not give up their magical knowledge when asked to, so he tortured them, and then they managed to escape. So elves are loving the trolls right now.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, I'm guessing Darkthan Drathir, like, I'm guessing something bad happened to him since we have no idea who he is. Or did he do the sensible thing and go and live in go and live in the forest somewhere? Probably not the forest with the trolls in it, but a different forest. During the Second War, Zul'Jin aligned with the Orcish Horde, and they tried to destroy Quel'Thalas, but the magical barrier stopped them. The Orcs retreated, but Zul'Jin was captured as the trolls were defeated. He had his eye plucked out, and he was going to be taken to Silvermoon for Lorthamar to decide what to do with him, but he managed to escape after cutting off his own arm.
Oh, yeah.
So they took his eye out, and he cut his own arm off.
Yes.
Great. Okay, Great. Awesome.
Yeah. Quel'Thalas changed in the subsequent years following the destruction caused by Arthas and the Scourge, which gave the Armani the chance to launch attacks on their own. But Quel'Thalas rallied the survivors, who are now the Blood Elves, and secured the borders.
Quel'Thas left to find a cure for the Belf's addiction to magic, and Zul'Jin saw the opportunity to attack. With both Horde and Alliance factions busy in Outland, he got Hexlord Malakras to infuse the essences of the Fawnmane Lower into troll warriors. There were rumours of a fifth essence, of a much darker than the Lower. When the Horde and Alliance heard of this happening, they sent their greatest champion. That would be us. Just FYI, we are Azeroth's greatest champion to take them down and prevent a further war. This is what happens in the Zul'Aman raid, where we kill the 4 lower avatar bosses and then Zul'Jin himself.
The Zandalari prophet Zul attempts another reunion of the troll tribes and strike against Quel'Thalas, again infusing the essence of their lower into living trolls. But this was also defeated by the Horde and the Blood Elves, including Vol'jin, Haldron, Brightwing, and Varisa Windrunner, names we have heard of.
Yes, we are getting to the end now. In Midnight, the Armani trolls have been having a quiet period, with very few attacks seen on the elves. Zul'Aman is now led by Zul'Jin's granddaughter Zuljara, and her brother Zul'Jan is her second in command. With the threat of the Void, Zuljara is searching for ways to aid in the coming battle. She tries to reconnect with the Lower, but they have abandoned their temples. So we go on a big quest with her to try and rekindle the bond between the troll and the Lower, undergoing trials to prove worthiness. We help the Armani by pushing back the invading Twilight's Hammer cult and the threat of Xal'atath, with the hopes that we will have their aid in the upcoming battle, as the Armani are still renowned as legendary fighters. We see Liadrin struggle, as her parents have been killed by the Armani when she was a young girl and she was tortured by them. So, yeah, it's all very exciting.
So that's why they don't like each other, because they've both been pretty shitty to each other for quite. This has taken centuries and centuries of stuff, because both of these races are extremely long-lived.
Yes,
unless they have eyes plucked out and arms.
Yeah, and arms chopped off and stuff. Like. Yeah, exciting.
So yeah, like, I have to say, when I heard some of that history I didn't know. I didn't know about the Xal'atath stuff.
No.
So that was really interesting. But obviously I was aware that, I remember doing the Zul'Aman raid however many years ago. That was a thing. I've been aware that, like, the elves and the blood elves and the trolls have not been besties. And I have to say, going into this zone, this was the one I just wanted to get out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I was just like, oh. You know, when they're like, you can go wherever you like. I'm like, oh, well, I'll go and do the troll zone and get it over and done with. And that's how I started the zone. And by the end of the zone, I'd had the best time.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand my initial, oh, I've got to get this out of the way. Like, absolutely. It was a delightful zone to work through.
Yeah, I feel like previously troll zones haven't been great. And I guess some of those old troll raids, like we had to do them a lot. So I don't know. It didn't. I was not particularly looking forward to this zone, but yeah, like you say, by the end of it, I did think it was pretty good. Like the story was pretty engaging. It was pretty good. It was pretty good stuff. I had a great time. What was your favourite bit, do you think?
So for some reason, I had completely blanked on the fact that every time we get to interact with a lower, I have the best time. I love finding out the stories behind why a particular lower, it has taken the form that they've particularly taken, and the story behind who they are and why they are the lower of whatever it is they are the lower of. And I just forget that I'm just enchanted by them. And I loved what I really enjoyed was how passionate that Zul'Jara is. And despite everybody going, "What are you doing, you silly girl? Like, this isn't going to get us anywhere." She's like, "No, literally, like, we fucked this up. We have to sort this out. And if I'm going to do if I'm going to be the leader I know I can be, I have to sort this out, and I'll do whatever it takes." And I also loved the way that you start off, everybody's like got their guard up. Obviously at the start everyone's like, okay, well, none of us like each other, but Xal'atath is worse, so okay. When you go into the like capital city of the zone, and everybody, before you go in, everybody's like, "We're going to kill you," and she's like, no, they're with me, and they're like, "Well, if she says so, but we're not sure." And then by the end of it, you've sorted out a date for someone. And you've, like,
we've sorted out. You've fixed some love lives, helped some. Yes. Found some lost toys for some children, and proved. There's a lot of. There was a good mix of slightly light-hearted questing and really not light-hearted questing in this zone, and some of the questing. I do think the lower of children, as Am says in the chat room, the lower of children storyline was just like that really tugged at the heartstrings. Really, that was a very powerful piece of questing. And the Tortolan turn up.
The Tortolan are there. King Murgle is
King
there.
Murgle is there. Yep. Sort of.
So yes, and I thought there was a really, like you say, a really really clever balance between, okay, this is big, heavy stuff, and it's very important that you understand how difficult this journey is for everybody. But we can't make the whole thing doom and gloom. Actually, even in moments of like heavy stuff, there can be light moments. There can be moments. And the other thing I found, the one thing I found a little bit, well, do I find it irritating?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. I don't know. See, now I was about to say one thing, and then I was like, do I think that? Because obviously there's a big, as well as like the underlying tension between the elves and trolls, and then between the trolls who think that the lower are just worthless, and actually the ones who are like, no, actually, I think, wow, that's amazing. You managed to get them to do that. It's the brother-sister dynamic that you've got going on, because you've got, I've forgotten his name. Zul'Jan. Yes, Zul'Jan. You've got Zul'Jan going, no, this is stupid. We just have to like be warriors and go and do some fighting because we're great fighters. And then he slightly fucks it up, and she's like, and she doesn't like cast him out or demote him or anything. She's like, you're my brother and I love you, but like I'm in charge, and I had a plan, and this is the plan. and even his slightly emo bit at the end on the emo bit on the end of the bridge, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if you're gonna like turn into a bad guy later on, or if you're just gonna have a beautiful moment of revelation, and I don't know which way you're going to take this, and I really hope that he's not going to become an obvious bad guy.
Yeah,
I have a little sneaking suspicion he is going to become a bad guy, and that's the only niggle I have, I think, with the whole thing.
Yeah. I also I obviously enjoyed the main storyline in the zone, and I enjoyed all the Sojourner quests, but I did find the questing a little bit less coherent. Like, one of the beautiful things about Eversong was the sort of the flow of quests through the zone, and the questing in Zul'Aman was a little bit more confusing. Like, it didn't flow quite as well, and sometimes you kept being sent sort of in one direction and then back somewhere else, which was a little bit frustrating when I was trying to do things kind of reasonably efficiently because I didn't have much playtime. So the sort of navigating the zone was a bit more complicated, which was just a little bit irksome. And so I kept picking up quests. So I'd like pick up a quest for the dungeon that's in there, the Marasara Caverns, or whatever it's called. Yes. And it's like you pick up the quest, and it's not a particularly great dungeon. We did it on Mythic Plus last week. It's just a lot of trash. And so I kind of got to the end of it, and then came out and gave it to somebody, and then 2 quests later, somebody else sent me to the dungeon again, and it's like, oh, come on. Like, why could, I just got back from there.
Yes.
So there was a bit of sort of quest flow stuff that maybe didn't work quite so well, but overall I thought it was a pretty good zone. It was a bit dark. It was a bit difficult to see where I was going some of the time.
Yep. The other thing, I don't know if you've picked this quest up, and you do some of this during the campaign questing, but the bit where you go to the area where the Zul'Aman raid was, and you take on the role of being a spirit, and you have to beat up the spirits of the dead raiders.
Yeah.
And I just found that, and I loved it, because occasionally there'd be a little glimpse of raiders of the past, running towards a chest, going, "Oh, I hope my chest piece."
Yeah, my chest piece. Yeah.
I thought that was really special, and a really lovely nod back to the place that we used to know it as, because obviously, when was Zul'Aman? When was Zul'Aman that raid? I should look that up.
I don't know.
Unless chat tell me sooner.
I don't know.
It was TBC. God, it really was.
God,
I was like,
really?
Is that TBC? It was TBC.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bash is in the chat room, and Bash says it's
Bash.
BC. Yeah, that feels like a very, very, very long time ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Magic Kira, you're right. There were every time you thought you'd cleared some quests up, ping some there's so much questing in that zone.
Yeah, there's a lot of questing. There's a lot of questing, and I do wish it was a little bit less like that, because it made it feel like a very, very long zone. Just because, it sort of made me feel like I could never quite get to the end of a questing hub, which was not a great feeling when you're trying to do things reasonably quickly. But overall, the questing was of a very, very high quality. So God, 2 decades ago, no. So yeah, I'll forgive it. For the most part. But yeah, I enjoyed it much, much, much more than I thought I was going to. Which was a bit of a surprise. I was like, oh, I'll just get this over and done with, and then I can go somewhere nice. Yeah, it was a good zone.
Lovely. What did have you done the abundance?
Yes.
Because the abundance is the thing. Obviously, you meet the larva of abundance. Done.
Yes, you meet Dun Dun.
Meet Dun Dun. Like, I sort of wish that the abundance we could have done for Dun Dun was like a huge party. I mean, I know that we've just done a party in the previous zone, but I mean, I don't mind the event, because you sort of run, like, I find a raid group and I run around like madly for 15 minutes collecting things, and then it gives me some stuff so that I can buy some housing items and some stuff for crafting, is what I see. But it's not the most engaging bit of content.
No, I've not done it in a raid group. I've just done it on my own, and it's fine. It's fine. I don't hate it. I don't especially love it. Like, it's quite short, and there's, at least once you're in an abundance, you just run around and do things. You don't have to wait for ages. Like, I did the Stormarian Assault yesterday because I was clearing my weeklies up, so I did the Citadel, and there's just periods of time when you're like, and now we sit and wait for 2 minutes because the timer hasn't run out yet on this preparation stage. And you're like, okay, well, this only takes 15 minutes because there's like 5 minutes where I'm sitting not doing anything because it's like we've reached the end of a preparation stage and now we're waiting for her to decide to do something. So that was frustrating. But at least the abundance doesn't do that. At least it's just stay, once you're in, you're kind of in, and you've got your 3 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever the timer is, and you can just run around and murder things. Seems fine. I don't have much to say about it. I'll tick it off my weekly sort of checklist. It's not something I'm going to do very often, though. Although there are about 6 million achievements connected to abundance.
Oh my goodness, so many. I was trying to do one today. There's one you have to do where you have to click on 4 of the special things that come up for professions. Oh. And actually trying to find 4 up in the amount of time is actually very difficult. Yeah. Wowhead has a very good article about this, as they always do. But yeah, that sort of frustrated me a bit. And then I was like, have I not done all of these? And they're like, no. And there's one achievement that weirdly it tracks it individually per character as opposed to and I was like, why? Why? Warbound? Why is this now a thing?
That's frustrating, especially for a new for a new one. Like, periodically old achievements like don't get caught up in the warboundness, but to have a new achievement that's deliberately unwarbound is a bit weird.
It's very, very weird.
Shall we hear what other people have got to say about this this zone? Let's hear what Salmis has to say.
This is Salmis reporting in for this week's topic, a story of lowered expectations.
Oh, Salmis.
When I played the end of Eversong on Salmis, I did my best to persuade the Blood Elves to find a peaceable resolution to the impasse. When I played it again on my Blood Elf Warlock, Erath, I felt he would prefer to simply stoke the fighting. I haven't played through all the local stories, and I'm sure I will have a much fuller perspective once I've had the chance to help more of the trolls in the zone and know more about the places I've wandered. I think the tone between Liadrin and Zul'Jara is fairly balanced, considering the serious nature of generational hostilities set within the somewhat goofy nature of the game. The limitations of what the game is mean that some compromises and abridging have to happen. That said, the story moves forward, and I enjoyed following it. The tension we have seen for several expansions of the symbiosis between the trolls and their Loa are explored in this story of relationship and trust in the process of restoration. I do look forward, though, to the next chapter of this story, through the zany antics of Zul'Jan, no doubt. If we don't continue his story, then I'd have to accuse Blizzard of trolling.
Oh,
Salmis out.
Salmis. Salmis, dearie me. Dearie me. But you are right though. They have set up a new hanging thread, and a new person to maybe be dealt with one way or another. So they are definitely gonna have to handle that somewhere. And if they don't, it'll be very annoying.
Yeah, that whole emo bit on the bridge.
Yeah, you're like, what,
dude?
What? I did, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, the chat room is enjoying is perhaps the wrong word. Enjoying the pun. Fabio Ciccone says, not much to say other than it's my favourite zone. The most interesting and the most compelling. I look forward to running the side quests there. Oh my goodness, Fabio, if you've not done the local stories, so many. I mean, there are a few of the local stories that are a bit like, could you go over there and get me this thing and then come back again? But there are some other local stories that are just so powerful that if you haven't done any of them, I think you're in for a good time.
Belladonna says, I love the storyline of the zone. Helping the Armani reconnect with the lower and helping to mend bridges between the tribes was such a breath of fresh air from the tension between Silvermoon and the Vanguard. A bit curious on where they'll take it in the future, especially with what Zul'Aman says during the final quest on the bridge. It almost seems like we're going to get more story from them in the future.
Yes, I think so. Magic Hero in the chat room says Zul'Aman feels like Edmund from Narnia, a bit petulant. He's not the leader.
Absolutely, that's such a good call.
Niche says, really enjoyed it for the above reasons. As an Alliance player who has barely explored any of the troll-based storyline on Horde campaigns. Yeah, right. It's very good.
Queen Smedry says, the lower are so cute. I know I talk too much about cats. You don't.
You don't.
But I really liked the Lynx lower. I bought his piece of housing decor, and he's so ridiculously cute there too.
Oh my goodness, he has. I haven't looked at housing decor yet. No, the Lynx lower is definitely my favourite of the lower that we were introduced to this time round. Really, 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 really enjoyed him. Thought he was really good.
Oh, and the capybara one as well.
The capybara one was
cute. I literally squeed out loud when he appeared. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yes. There are some good lower this time round. There are some good lower. Sakramir says Zul'Aman's zone story was fresh and compelling in its recounting past interactions with the Armani. The conflict between Zul'Jara and Zul'Jan still feels unfinished, and I can see it developing as more of a problem in future expansions. Yeah, they've definitely set themselves up for a bit more stuff there.
I want to go back actually. Do you remember I read the Armani short story before the expansion came out, and I was like, I don't know any of these people, so I feel so unconnected from it. Now I'm totally jacked to go back and read it. I think it'll be so good.
Yeah.
Ams says, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed Zul'Aman. Initially, I thought it was going to be a bit of a snooze fest, but it turned out to be top-notch storytelling, and I particularly enjoyed the heartfelt interactions between Liadrin and Zul'Jara. Made even more impactful having read the short story afterwards.
Oh, well, there you go.
Again, great work in not adding necessary lore to a story, but excellent background, which made Zul'Aman so rich lore-wise, especially with the lower and having to acknowledge the harm her grandfather did. I particularly liked the part where the lower were watching over Zul'Jara while she was unaware. I sense that there is much more to be heard from the brother and sister duo, and I totally see him as a future dungeon or raid villain. The delves and dungeons in this zone are my least favourite, except the one that's like a maze.
Yes,
I like
that's a good one. Yes, that's a good one.
That's my favourite.
Yes.
That's my favourite delve.
I like that delve. I like that delve. There's lots of just pulling levers, and you feel like you're in I don't know. You feel like you're in some kind of like old dungeon crawler. It's really good,
like the adventure game or something like that.
Yeah.
The others just feel like they're too packed with trash.
Yes.
Now, this seems to be a Coram theme, this expansion.
Oh my god.
Abundance is a bit of a miss for me. Something about it feels like a grind for grind's sake, even if it's a short burst. I'd have preferred to have had a maximum of 2 shards of Dun per week and just 4 times the rewards. That would have been the sweet spot for me personally. overall, I feel like that based on how expensive the fused things are and how many of them are needed for epic profession items, it just screams grind. I think they should have. I think it should have just been transmog only oriented. Yeah, I think that's a great call. All in all, Zul'Aman is a triumph for me. Solid 10 out of 10.
Yes, the dungeons are not great. That's definitely true. And this, like, what is it with trash? This expansion, it's really, 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 really bad. The caverns.
And the other thing is, as soon as you get into a dungeon that's got that much trash, you know if you go on a pug that a tank is going to try and like put in skips. And sometimes skips work and that's fine, but like the skips where you want somebody to jump up on some terrain and not everybody can make those jumps, and then so you either have to hope that there's a like priest who can like yank you up to whatever like little bit of wall that you want me to jump up on, or I go invisible and see if I can run around. And it just adds a whole, or somebody bum pulls it and then you spend as much if not more time because you've been pissing about trying to jump up on a bit of wall.
I'm not a fan of the dungeon design they've done this time round at all. But this delve, I can't remember what this delve is called in here, but the Little Maze Delve is really cool.
The Little Maze Delve.
It's called the Little Maze Delve, yes, and it's very good.
Southwest.
Yes, it's in the bottom.
Southwest.
It's in the bottom.
It's my favourite.
Yeah, the little maze delve that could. Which is better than the Parhelion Plaza, which can go down in a fucking fire. We'll get to that in a minute. Graphis says, I really like this zone. Both the main and the side stories worked well. Trolls have seemed to be the backup buddies for most of WoW, so it's nice to see the other side, and I love a good lower. I've only done Abundance once, so I'm still unsure of it, but it seems fine. I'm not sure if the lower shouting all the time will get boring after a while. I don't pay much attention to the lower shouting, to be honest.
Let me tell you, Graphis, I've done a lot of Abundance because I was trying to do some of the achievements. I love Dun Dun. I can listen to Dun Dun yelling enthusiastic. In fact, maybe what I need is an app where if I need to do something, Dun Dun just comes and goes, EJ, go and take that thing you need to the tip. Well done, you've taken the thing to the tip. Thanks, Dun Dun. I mean, absolutely, that might actually work. Because he's so enthusiastic and it's not annoying. Whoever those actors are, perfect. Love it.
Am says it's called the Twilight Crypts.
Twilight Crypts, or the Little Maze That Could.
The little dungeon maze that could.
Yeah. Marie says, the trolls have always been my favourite horde race, so I expected to enjoy Zul'Aman, but I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did.
Aww.
The only thing that put it below Harandar was the music. Not that it's bad, but that Harandar's music was so good. I immediately loved Zul'Jara and was annoyed by Zul'Jan, and this only intensified as the storyline went on. We're going to have trouble with Zul'Jan, mark my words. I did like the role that we play in the story, including how the NPC dialogue changes from, look, quick, it's taboo to sell to outsiders, to, what can I get for you, Hashura? Cultists are always satisfying enemies to fight, but I also liked that there were some who realised that it didn't provide the safety they were looking for and so wanted out. The interplay between Liadrin and Zul'Jara was lovely. It's about time we saw growth away from vengeance in some of these characters. As a Night Elf Druid, I have a special place in my heart for the Trolls' wild gods, Loa, and I found a kindred spirit in Helazi, the Lynx Loa. I haven't finished unlocking all the Loa, but I have the 4 main as well as Philo children, Willamar for travellers, Pool for peril, Coolsey for medicine, and Dun Dun for abundance. I did my first abundance and can say it's not my favourite zone activity. I'll have to do it in a raid group to see if that improves the experience. I love that Dun Dun is a rat, but his voice didn't feel right for his shape. A minor grievance, to be sure. It is... I don't know, I think some rats can have a slightly grand air about them. Rats I have known throughout the years. I find him just, very compelling.
You can imagine a rat in a little top hat and a monocle. That'd be alright.
Exactly.
Yeah, with a little cane. Yeah, that'd be cool. Trey says, I enjoyed learning more about the original inhabitants of Azeroth. The Loa were fascinating. However, can we just start punching whiny little siblings? Grow up, dude. We could, Trey, we could, but we would probably be spoiling some later down the line content requirement. So, yeah, I suspect that's why we can't.
Yeah, I felt like we all like went to emo boy on the bridge and we're like, oh, you're going to be a problem in the future, aren't you?
Marie says, okay, if I can imagine him in a top hat, monocle and a little cane, I can probably get into it. Like, okay, good.
Absolutely. That's the transmog that Dundon's working on currently.
Maybe even a little waistcoat. With a little pocket watch.
It looks so good in a little waistcoat.
Like a little rat in a little waistcoat.
Adorable.
Yeah.
So, whilst you're all thinking about that, I'm going to finish our topic with Corin Wolf's thoughts. And Corin Wolf said, I enjoyed Zul'Aman, although I wanted to see more of Zul'Jan, as he seemed like a total nutter who's going to give us some exciting times. Possibly too exciting. Though, can we get the goblins to do a deal with the tree situation? I need clearer flight lines. Yeah, it is very easy to fly into something you don't mean to in that zone.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's not a particularly easy zone to navigate, and it was one of the zones. In fact, all three of the other zones that are not Eversong use their verticality quite well, which means that it's very difficult. So when you see something on a map, you can't tell which fucking level it's on. And whilst sometimes, if it's a quest marker or whatever, it will, we're having a little strop of our claws. It will, give you a little up arrow or a little down arrow. Obviously treasures and things you don't always get the same information for, so I did spend quite a lot of time looking for some things in the wrong kind of level, and there was I was really glad that the ability to turn off dragon flying arrived whilst I was in that zone, and I was so relieved, because dragon flying in that zone for me, not dragon flying, what do we call it now? Skyriding. Skyriding for me is absolutely terrible, and I just kept face planting into trees.
I was looking for one of there's some, what are they called? They're called something like song speakers or something like that. There's several of them. You have to
go and find them for an achievement.
Yep. And there was one that I kept on going in the top north that I kept trying to find, and I was like, maybe it's a phasing thing. So I waited until I'd done all the questing. Still couldn't find them. I'd looked it up. Everybody was telling me in the right direction. It literally took me days and days until I realised that she was stood on a tiny platform on the top of the fucking temple.
Oh no! Oh no. Yeah, it is a bit of a frustrating zone to navigate. Much easier now I've got steady flying. Skyriding can go die in a fire. So that's two things I've put in the fire today. I'm glad that people who like torturing themselves like that are free to do so. It's a free world, I guess.
No kink shaming here.
No, it is quicker. I will admit that it is quicker. I would rather get there slower and not smash my face into a tree, and get to where I'm actually going to, and not somewhere that's 3 stops further on.
Yes.
Not.
I have to say, these days, if I need to go somewhere far, far away, and I know where it is, I will turn it on, just for getting me that somewhere quickly. But no, most of the time I'm on steady flying.
Yeah, I can't be doing that.
That's what I need. It also means that I can just hover in the air and just look at my other screen, or talk to my husband or something like that.
Yeah. Because there's nowhere safe to stand on the ground. So, come on. Very bizarre. But anyway, other people like it. That's fine. But I was glad that I could do steady flying for most of this zone. So overall, a very successful zone. Everybody really enjoyed the story. We've set ourselves up a big bad for later. It seems a little bit like, oh, really, you're going to turn him into a big bad? But I do think that's where it's going. I just can't really see it going anywhere else. It doesn't.
I will be super surprised if he doesn't go a bit bad at some point. Absolutely.
Yes. Indeed. Well, thank you very much, Blizzard. 10 out of 10. No notes. Well, a couple of notes. Nothing significant,
though. Couple of small notes. Well, if you're enjoying the show, perhaps you could give us a like or post a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to us. We're hoping to try and grow our audience a bit, and we'd love you to help us reach out to new people. We'd love you to come and join our Discord channel over at bit.ly/ggw-discord. You can also watch our live show on Sundays at 8 p.m. London time or midday Pacific over at twitch.tv/ShilkyRaven. I love how every week I cock up another bit of that.
That's fine. We did rewrite it fairly recently, so it's not the same version that we've been doing for the last 5 years or 10 years or however long it's been. Okay, so now we're going to move into our little radio play, a little update from our little gnomish correspondent, Cassunda. Previously on the Cassunda Chronicles, the Death Knight Trilith was telling the assembled watchers about a scourge incursion in Icecrown and how his forces were grouping up to deal with it. Let's see what happened to the crew this week.
The Cassunda Chronicles, Cold Front, Part 3. Greetings and salutations, my friends. 'Tis I, Cassunda. I want to apologise for the sudden stopping last time. The device I used to communicate with you failed on me. I quickly went and found Gearson, who informed me it was a common problem with these devices, and all I needed to do was use a new one that he gave me. Apparently it's a common thing, and all you have to do is get a new one regularly. He was calling it the Earstone 4? Wasn't too sure what he meant, but he said every few months it would fail and I'd have to upgrade to the newer model. And then the next one, and then the next one. I'm starting to think this is a marketing ploy by him. I'm so glad I don't actually have to pay for it. But I digress. That's not what I was talking to you about, was it? I went back downstairs again, made my apologies to Master Tyrillith. He gave a weird rasping noise. It would sound like a laugh, but forced, so someone that didn't really feel emotion. Your friends have told me this is common around you, good sir. I wasn't sure whether that was an insult or a compliment, but either way I asked him to please continue. Where was I? Ah, yes. We split our forces. Frisian would take a heavy contingent to our left side. Sprannock would take forces to the right. I would be the spearhead coming down the centre, while at the same time an aerial contingent would come in from above. The one way they wouldn't be able to go was backwards. For those of you that have not been to Icecrown, it is a large crater with a raised area around it. Their mistake was camping on one of those raised areas. By coming in from the sides, they could not run that way. They couldn't jump into the crater, because that's where I was coming from. And the other side was just a sheer drop. You couldn't even see the bottom of it, so who knows how far it would drop. I waited till the others got in place, and I gave the signal. All those forces saw, in the moment they lifted their heads and started to howl a warning, was a wall of metal and bone and steel and anger. We swept through their outer forces like a tsunami of pain and suffering, raising our own undead allies to help us. Weird green flowing mists of pestilence, some using blood itself as a weapon. Those that were first to be hit didn't suffer long, if they could suffer at all. The thing with Scourge, they do not panic. They do not run. They actually thought they stood a chance against the tide of death that rode through them. Our target was a cave on the edge of the plateau. More and more of their forces started to form in front of it, trying to stop us getting there. But nothing was going to stop us. Nothing would stop me. With that, there was a knock on the door. It wasn't an interruption this time, it was refreshments for those of us that needed it. I did offer some to Spranak and to Tyrillith, but they declined. But please, they understood that those of us that were living needed it. So we're taking a few minutes break just to re-energize ourselves. And at that point, my friends, I'll tell you what happened, because I don't know about you, but I'm quite intrigued. I'll be seeing you.
Blimey. A tsunami of pain and suffering. Good grief, that is quite a good description of a Death Knight army. Wow.
So just a quiet, gentle bedtime story this week. Thanks, Cassunda.
Yeah. Stay safe, little friend. Right. Now we will move on to our week in gaming. EJ, how has your week been this week?
Well, this week, she says, tidying up her nose. So this week, things have gone well. The vault has, I think everybody who had something out of the vault got something that they could use that was an upgrade, so that was nice. Quite happy with my North America, because obviously I started a North American account so that we could have a neighborhood.
To do our neighborhood.
And I made a warlock over there, and she's just having a lovely time. She's having the best loot luck out of any character I have. I think she might have the best eye level I've got on anybody, which is a little bit weird and frustrating, but also it means that she can just run around and do whatever she fancies, so that's great. I think I want to actually start, like, she has her house, I just haven't done anything to it, because I was sort of trying to collect some, I was trying to work out, I think what I might do with her house is, because of course there's a whole load of stuff she's not going to have.
Yeah,
because she's never done any of the questing, and she's never done.
She's brand new.
She's brand new, and so I thought it would be quite interesting to see what I could create as a brand new person who was coming into housing who doesn't have because obviously my other characters have got 20 odd years worth of things that were unlocked, whereas like she doesn't have that. So that's sort of, I'm going to see what she can do just with like gold and what's already been unlocked and dropped for her. I took my warlock and I killed what's he called? I killed Nullius on question mark.
Oh.
So I did that. I took my doggo in with me. So I had an interrupt, which is very important on that fight. You have to have an interrupt or you're not going to get through it. And so I'm like, I'm really sorry, tanky friend, my beautiful blueberry. You cannot come with me for this fight. I'm very sorry. And he's like, okay, take the dog. So I took the dog.
Take the dog. Murder the dog. It'll be fine.
Take the dog. And then the dog did such a good job. I rewarded the dog by going to Karazhan and picking up a customization for my dog. So my dog is now purple.
Oh. Excellent. You've now dyed the dog.
Purple variation if you go into Karazhan. You have to go into like the second version of Karazhan. And on a bookshelf after you've defeated the bosses where you get shrunk down.
Oh, yeah.
When you're in the library, you can run upstairs and, like, hidden on a bookshelf, there's a tome, and you can make your warlock dog into a purple dog.
A tome for dyeing your warlock dog.
Yes.
Special
yes, there's lots of weird... Yeah, they put
dye.
in loads of... Yeah, they put in loads of customizations for all of your warlock pets, and they all come in like weird places like this. So I've unlocked some of them, not some on others.
How odd.
What I did do on my North American warlock is I was like, I want green fire. I hate not having green fire. That's Throne of Thunder, but
that's a whole thing.
Well, so it didn't take as long as I thought it was going to, because you don't have to do Mists of Pandaria to unlock Throne of Thunder. You can just go to Verisa, who is waiting in the Taolong steps, and she's like, hi, there's this like place with some Mogu. Do you want to go and like deal with it? And I'm like, yeah.
Love to.
And you go,
Thank
and
you
then
so much.
you do a little scenario, and then Jaina or her says, thanks, let's do the next scenario. So you do the next little scenario. So it only took like half an hour to unlock everywhere.
Okay.
And then I just had to kill rares until one of the rares dropped the book that gives you the book to start the thing. So, yeah, delightful. So she has green fire, so I'm much happier.
Okay.
Because I was like, why do I keep looking at this warlock being really confused? I'm like, because your fire's the wrong colour, love.
Fire's wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, I did that this week. I did everybody's. I've done a bang lot more of the Nightmare Praise this week. And we're finally at the point of the expansion where I was able to go back to a house and start working on my house.
Oh, exciting.
So my alliance, EU alliance house, I'd sort of I'd taken my plot, I'd got my plot, I'd worked out the floor plan, I'd done one room for my Draenei Paladin, and then hadn't been back since midnight dropped. What I decided to do, I've turned my entranceway into a trophy room.
Oh,
because
beautiful.
They just keep giving us little trophies.
Yeah, they do
for
keep giving us
things.
trophies. Yeah.
So I've dyed a whole load of bookcases. So I've got black bookcases in my entranceway, and I've taken all the prey models and like shrunk them down. So I've got like trophies, and then after you kill the raid bosses, like the end raid boss, they give you a trophy, and it's a different colour depending on what difficulty you kill it on.
Oh, okay.
So there's like a silver one if you kill it on Raid Finder, and there's a gold one if you kill it on maybe normal, and then there's a shiny gold one if you kill it on, I presume that might be heroic or something. Yeah, there's different colours.
Okay.
So I've got a little Illyria, and I've got a little Lura, and a little Chimera, and you get a little egg for killing the egg before Lura, the phoenixy eggy thing before Lura. So yeah, bosses keep giving me things, and I'm like, okay, I'll just make a trophy room. So I did that, and I got to visit. So this week's one of the Housing World Quest this week was join a group with like 5 other people and go to
have a
their
little
house and look around
party.
their house and have a little house party.
Yeah.
And I decided to find a group in the custom group finder. And somebody invited me to their group, and I went to their group, and they had the most delightful house. It was all Christmas themed. So they had like a snowman that they'd made, and they had Christmas tree, and they'd like made Christmas wreaths and stuff. It was really, and I just ran around this house going, oh my God, this is delightful. But I've seen lots of people talking about just like doing big parties and looking around other people's houses. And it's one of my favorite things about housing is just looking around at other people's inventiveness. So, So I finished the camp. I'm completely up to date with my campaign. I love the way that the story's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, so I did the last bit of the story, when North America opened up, and then I had to sit on my hands for 24 hours until it opened up because I was like, I went over to Simon and I said, have you done the thing yet? He's like, no, you did it on your North American account. I'm like, there's a thing. I need to talk to somebody about the thing. And then I had to sit on my hands for 24 hours until I could talk to Simon about it. Because I was like, and I won't spoil the thought that I had, but I was like, oh no, I had a thought. And then Simon's like 24 hours later was like, so, and I was like, so yeah, I've had a really, really good week. Yes, indeed. And then also I was, now hold on, I'm rolling up to my post about it. Now, I don't think this is spoiler territory, but I've just not seen anybody else mention this. So, when I was doing the Alera fight the other day, as she breaks the platform that the fight happens on before she breaks it into 3 sections, I was like, did I just see Lura? And I'm like, no, I must have and I'm furiously Googling this, and I'm like, and I said to Simon, I said, have you seen this? He went, no, I've not seen that. And then I went back today and I got a screenshot. As she goes to break the floor, the image of Lura is momentarily
interesting
on the floor.
Interesting.
It's only there momentarily. And then it vanishes again, and I've not seen anybody talk about it. And I'm like, oh my god, they literally, they signpost what's going to happen. And I was just really fascinated that it's just there, and nobody, if other people have talked about it, I can't find it. But I was just really fascinated by that little tiny Easter egg that was in there, and I was like, oh, I really like that. And also, it's a very Xalatath thing.
Yes.
It's literally Xalatath going, I'm up to something.
Yes.
Literally, if you blink, you wouldn't notice because there's so much happening.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I don't remember that bit of the fight. I've only done it in story mode or Raid Finder. Story mode.
I literally
don't remember.
I caught it in the corner of my eye a couple of days ago, and I was like, okay, I've got to go and run this fight again. And I went to quite a difficult LFR today.
Oh, no.
I got through it.
Oh no.
And I got the screenshot because I was like, okay, this is, oh no, yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, WoW, having the best time, absolutely in WoW. Very excited, little bit weirded out that there's a patch coming in a week and a half. I'm like, really? That's confusing.
Yeah.
But how about yourself? How's your week gone?
Yeah, also a little bit freaked out that there's a patch next week. Obviously, I've been moving a lot slower than some other people because of work stuff and not having quite so much time to play. This is the first week I feel like I was playing on a kind of normal schedule. But there's a patch next week. Okay, fine. What have I done this week? I've also finished the campaign. So I did the March Keldanas in story mode and then finished the questing that came after it. I thought it was all super interesting. I thought it was good. I thought it wrapped things up nicely. We'll talk about it at some point later, but really enjoyed it. Thought it was good questing. Rattled through all of the kind of weeklies this week for the first time that I've done them in the sort of in the weekly cadence. Reminded once again, Stormarian Assault's really bad, actually, really bad. But the Abundance is super quick, and the Legendaries of Harandar are quite nice. Still like those. So that was good fun. Did some Prey this week. So I picked the Prey for my weekly quest. So I've done 3 heroic... Sorry, they're not heroic, are they? They're hard.
Hard.
Yes.
Normal, hard.
Normal, hard, and Nightmare. Yes, I'm not grown up enough to do Nightmare yet. So I did. I did the hard ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just not very sure about this content.
I think my feeling is, I think we would feel differently about it had it not been advertised to us the way it was advertised. I don't think the advert and the reality match up.
No, it's a bit weird. So you sort of pick it up. So I tried to pick it up whilst I was doing some other bits and pieces. But because you have to sort of go back to the guy and choose which one you want to do. And so you're like tied into doing a particular thing in a particular zone. And then you have this zone-wide debuff on you. You can't really do it alongside. You can do it alongside world quests. But obviously it has its own world quest. So you have to go and do its world quest. And then... But that doesn't take you all of the way to your quarry. So then you're like, okay, well now I'll go and do a different world quest. But there are obviously other kind of prey-related things going on. I don't know, it just seems a bit... I don't think you can really do it alongside other stuff, which is what they sort of said when they were advertising it. It's just another completely separate thing that you do, which I don't... Like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it particularly. I did die on one of them today, not because of not whilst being ambushed, actually. It was all taking place in a very mob-heavy area, and I just got overwhelmed. And some of the mobs were those little lashers with the little spikes on them.
They hit really hard, those guys.
Well, they put a debuff on you, you see, I think is the thing. They've got some kind of rated petal debuff thing.
Yes.
So you just, like, you get hit by two of them and then you're like, oh, well, I'm dead. Thanks. And then he's really mean to you and, like, laughs a lot. And then if you die, it takes you back so far that it then takes ages to actually finish the damn thing.
Yeah.
And you can't really do anything else because you're on a timer. Like, when you finish it, it tells you how long it took you to do the prey. So you literally, you are disincentivized from, doing other things at the same time as you're doing that thing, because it's giving you a timer at the end. I don't know. It's a slightly confused piece of content. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's fine. So I did 3 of those this week. I then attempted to do a delve because I hadn't done a level 8 delve, and because I was in Silvermoon, I stupidly went to the Parhelion Plaza, which was a huge mistake. And it's really long, it's really full of trash, and the end boss, so I had it on an 8. And I've only just got up to level 8, and I'm not particularly brilliantly geared. And I couldn't defeat it. Well, I mean, I died twice, and then I was like, it's now podcast o'clock, I need to go and do something else. So I had to go and back out of it, which was really frustrating. I probably could have got it down, but it's just, I don't have the interrupts for this. Like, druids don't have hundreds of interrupts. I've got, like, 2. And they've all got long timers on them. So I don't have enough interrupts for the stupid little void things with their little...
Like, it's not the big dude that's the problem, it's those little ones that absolutely annihilate you in like 2 seconds.
Fuckers. Little void fuckers are not good. So didn't enjoy that. Very, 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 alright, 3. But I don't use Stomp very often. Solar Beam and Typhoon are the 2 that I usually use. Technically you can go bear, but like it's annoying. I'm not going to go in as a tank. That's not going to be a thing that I'm going to do, but thanks, chat room. Thanks, Queen. Why can't my helpful rogue friend do some interrupting? Like, she's a rogue.
Exactly.
She's a rogue. She must have some fucking interrupts. Why can't she need them?
I mean, I think that delve is tuned harder than the other ones. I don't think that at an 8 is comparable with the others at an 8.
That's almost the first death I've had in any delve at all this season. And I've done a few 8s now, not hundreds. But I've done like a whole bunch of 8s, and that's the first time I've had any kind of death or come close to any kind of death, because I just don't really really have that many interrupts. So that was a bit frustrating. Anyway, in group news, not Wednesday. I keep saying Wednesday because we used to raid on Wednesdays. I'm determined that it was Wednesday we went out. It was not Wednesday. It was Thursday we went out. We went out on Thursday, and after a few attempts and about an hour's work, we got the Dream Rift dude down. Woo!
Chimera.
I don't know what. Chimerus. Don't know. Anyway, he's dead now. So that's taken us 3 solid weeks to get that down. Well, about 3 hours work, because we've had to go away and get a bit more geared in the interim. And that was really good. Really, really, really happy with that. And then we went to the Void Spire and we did the same 3 bosses as we did last week. So we did the Imperator, the tic-tac-toe boss at the beginning. So we played a little game of tic-tac-toe. Then we got stomped on by Gorilla with some donuts. And then we went to Fallen King Salad Bar and put an end to...
about his balls.
Oh, we learnt about his balls. Yeah, we put an end to King Salad Bar pouting about his balls. So that was that. But very, very successful nights. Raiding... Voracious, is that really his name? The gorilla dude, Imperator Voracious, and salad bar. You see, salad bar. It's exactly what it says. Oh, hello, Bell. Bell's like, I don't
being
actually
very brave, being held.
Actually, sure, I want to be in this situation.
That's enough. She says that's enough.
Yeah,
that's a
thank
long
you very
time
much.
for Bell.
Yeah. It's about as long as I'd managed to hold River, which. I need to weigh River again, so at some point I need to lock us both in the bathroom and then we need to have a discussion. It's quite complicated weighing River because holding on to her whilst you try and stand on the scales is like holding on to a very slippery, very angry toddler. So yeah, it was a good night's raiding. Good fun was had by all. We'll probably do the same. It'll depend who joins us a little bit. Like if some people join us next week who haven't been with us before, then we might go back to Chimerus again, or we might leave him and I guess we could try and push a bit further into the Void Spire. Anyway, we'll see. Didn't do any Mythic Plus, sorry about that, everyone. Friday, I was so tired by the time. I didn't finish work until 7 p.m. on Friday, and then I was exhausted because I had to get the stuff off to the auditors. Which, yeah, I had a big stack of... I got my nervous email from the auditor on Friday morning because they have a sort of audit dashboard thing where you upload each of the files that you need. And I hadn't uploaded any because I tend to do them all in a batch. So I got a nervous email from the little baby auditor on Friday morning saying, I see there haven't been any uploads, just checking that we're still good for Monday. And I was like, yeah. So I spent Friday uploading all of this stuff and finding errors and that sort of thing. So it was a bit all over the place. But hopefully, plan for this week is raiding on Thursday and then Mythic Plus on Friday. So hopefully we'll be doing some EU Mythic Plus on Friday, probably starting around 4s or 5s, depending on what we've got keys for. So we'll see. Right, let us hear what everybody else's weeks in gaming have been like, starting with Salmus.
Hello, Raven and EJ. This is Salmus, the alchemical rogue, reporting in for my week in WoW. Friends and family ran a couple of delves and admired each other's homes. Rexual Healing sang a lullaby to normal Chimerus in the Dream Rift and put that bad boy to sleep. It took a few tries to figure out the dance, but eventually we all did what we needed to do, and the boss took a well-deserved dirt nap. We also ran some Cataclysm time walking in a couple of lower Mythic Plus dungeons and higher delves. I also saw the story mode end of the March on Keldanas and figured out what we're going to do about that black hole Sunwell thingy. Stories are never really simple, are they? Thank you all. Salmus out.
No, there is definitely some boding. Whilst everybody's being very pleased about how everything turned out. Like, phew, everything's okay. Yep, maybe. We've
still got to deal with her, guys.
Yeah, but even aside from the dealing with her, there's also some potential, other stuff. some other story beats have been hinted at, I feel like.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we'll see. Now let's see what the people on our Discord have been up to. Queen Smedry has dinged her druid, which seemed to take way longer than expected, but she now has heal gear, but needs a group to heal.
Ams has either been playing WoW or Pacopia this week, and had good luck in WoW with the contained Stormerian Defender mount from the chest, and the ominous Dominus pet. From the Delve Mini Nullius chest. Ominous Dominus.
Ominous Dominus, yeah. Graphis has been gearing up their monk. He healed some Mythic Zeros, which went quite well, and has been away, so unable to play for a few days. That's okay. We'll see you back next week.
Maria's finished Voidstorm and has unlocked World Quests and other maxed level stuff. She's now finishing the last bits for Sojourner, the trading post, and making sure she's done enough to unlock a vault piece.
Oh, I also finished my trading post this week. I only know this because it pinged up the achievement for having finished 12 trading posts. I was like, oh, finally. I was something I'd obviously been very behind on. There was a moment where I was doing something yesterday where it was just like, move 2 steps forward, ping, move 2 steps in a different direction, ping, and I was like, what is going on? There was just all sorts of random stuff popping up.
Was it for the Endeavours?
I don't know. There was just a lot of... I was trying to do something and a lot of stuff kept happening on my screen, and I was like, this is quite annoying, actually. Trey has been doing all the things, finished up the storyline, did several praise world quests, and then tried to make sense of the Voidstorm area. I mean, good fucking luck with that, dude. If you manage it, do let us know.
And finally, Corin Wolf and his raid team have one more boss to defeat in the Voidspire, and he's proud to announce how well he slapped down the Mad Paladins. It's entirely their own fault for not acknowledging their High Lord properly and paying him the right amount of respect. In other news, he has used the Eye of Kilrog in anger for the first time. It is ideal for hunting out where the fucking banner is hiding in Ashalaman. Corin, that's a brilliant idea. I hate that fucking... Like, why on the little pane, you know your little delve pane that says, there's this many more nemesis that you need to find. And you're like, oh, okay, I've done 2, I need to find a 3rd. Why is there not a little thing saying, this delve has a sanctified banner in it, or this delve doesn't have a sanctified banner in it? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Corin. Good top tip. I'll need to get that out my spell book. I don't even think I've got that on my bars.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Seems like a busy week all round. Well, thank you very much for listening this week. If you want to get in touch with us, the best place to find us is on Discord at bit.ly/ggw-discord. We'd also love it if you drop us a follow over at Blue Sky. We're at GGW Show, or subscribe to us on YouTube. We're also at GGW Show. Remember, if you've enjoyed the show, we'd love for you to drop us a like or a follow or a little review on the platform of your choice to help other people find us too.
Next week, patch time already? Patch 12.0.5 arrives on April 21st or 22nd. So we're going to talk about what's coming. So let us know what you're excited for. And are you ready for a patch, or is it too soon, Executus?
Well, it's too soon because it spoiled all of my guest planning. And I now have to go and tell all of the unexpected patch in planning area. Yeah. So yes, it's spoiled all sorts of things, but there we go. Never mind. I'm sure it'll be fine. Thank you very much for listening this and every week, everyone. And we will speak to you in 7 days. Bye bye.
Bye bye.